If you grew up in the 1970s, you know that feeling, when a forgotten song suddenly plays and instantly transports you back in time. Today we're diving into 13 songs that only true children of the 70s will recognize. Those deep cuts and one-hit wonders that somehow slipped through the cracks of time. Number 13, Magnet and Steel by Walter Egan.
So you ought to know.
Walter Egan's 1978 hit Magnet and Steel was everywhere on rock radio, yet somehow became one of those songs that vanished from playlists over the decades. The track peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it a genuine hit. But Egan never managed to replicate this success. The song featured backing vocals from Fleetwood Mac's Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, which explains its polished California sound that defined late 70s rock. Egan was actually dating Nicks at the time, and their relationship helped secure the collaboration. The song's smooth guitar work and catchy chorus made it a favorite on album-oriented rock stations, particularly in markets like Los Angeles and San Francisco, where the West Coast sound dominated. The track appeared on Egan's album Not Shy, which also benefited from the Fleetwood Mac connection, but failed to produce any other significant hits.
And it can't be wrong.
As the 80s arrived with their emphasis on new wave and synth pop, tracks like Magnet and Steel seemed to belong to a different era entirely. The song's laid-back vibe and guitar-driven arrangement suddenly felt dated compared to the electronic sounds taking over radio. For those who lived through it, though, this song represents the tail end of the 70s rock movement perfectly, capturing that moment when California rock was still king before MTV changed everything.
For you are a magnet, and I...
Number 12, Boogie, Oogie, Oogie by A Taste of Honey. The disco era produced countless dance floor fillers, but A Taste of Honey's 1978 smash Boogie, Oogie, Oogie was special. This infectious track reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a Grammy winner for Best New Artist. Yet the group never achieved similar heights again. The song's relentless groove and call and response vocals made it impossible to resist at roller rinks, school dances, and house parties across America. What made this track unique was how it bridged the gap between disco and funk, with a bass line that could make anyone move. A Taste of Honey was a duo consisting of Janice Marie Johnson and Hazel Payne, and their chemistry was evident in every note. Johnson, who played bass and sang lead vocals, had previously worked as a session musician, while Payne brought her gospel-influenced background to their harmonies. The song became a cultural touchstone for anyone who experienced the height of disco culture, when Saturday nights meant dancing until dawn, and music had the power to unite people on the dance floor regardless of background. The track's success also came at a crucial moment in disco's evolution, just before the genre would face a massive backlash that culminated in events like Chicago's notorious Disco Demolition Night in 1979. For those who were there, Boogie Oogie Oogie represents disco at its most joyful and unifying. Number 11, Da Ya Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart's foray into disco with 1978's Da Ya Think I'm Sexy shocked many longtime fans but became a massive international hit. The song topped charts in multiple countries and showed Stewart's willingness to evolve with musical trends. However, the track was also controversial, with Stewart facing accusations of borrowing the melody from other sources, leading to legal settlements and donated royalties to UNICEF. The song's creation came during a period when Stewart was fully embracing his celebrity lifestyle, living between Los Angeles and London and frequenting Studio 54 when in New York. His manager suggested he try something more contemporary, and Stewart collaborated with guitarist Carmine Appice to create this disco rock hybrid. The result was unlike anything in his previous catalog, complete with synthesizers and a 4-on-the-floor beat. For teenagers in the late 70s, this song represented a moment when rock stars weren't afraid to embrace disco's mainstream appeal. Stewart's raspy vocals over a pulsing disco beat created something unique in his catalog. The song's success proved that even established rock artists could adapt to changing times, though many critics felt it marked a departure from Stewart's blues rock roots. Radio played it constantly, making it inescapable during its peak popularity, and it became a staple at both rock clubs and discotheques. Number 10. Precious and Few by Climax.
And if I can't find my way back home.
Long before power ballads dominated the airwaves, Climax gave us Precious and Few in 1972. This gentle, acoustic-driven love song reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a wedding favorite throughout the decade. The band, led by Sonny Garatti, created one of the era's most tender expressions of romantic devotion, with simple yet effective lyrics and a melody that stuck with listeners for decades. The song's success was particularly remarkable because it emerged during a time when rock music was getting heavier and more complex. Precious and Few proved that there was still room for straightforward, heartfelt ballads in the musical landscape. Climax never matched this success, making them a perfect example of the one-hit wonder phenomenon that defined much of the 70s music scene. For those who slow danced to this song at their high school prom, it remains a treasured memory of young love. Number 9. Brand New Key by Melanie.
I rode my bicycle past your window last night.
Melanie's 1971 hit Brand New Key was unlike anything else on the radio. The song's playful lyrics about roller skates and its childlike delivery made it both charming and slightly subversive. It reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and established Melanie as a unique voice in the singer-songwriter movement. The track's innocent surface masked more mature themes, something that listeners picked up on even if radio programmers initially missed it.
I got a brand new pair of roller skates, you got a brand new key.
What made this song memorable was its sheer unpredictability. Melanie's distinctive vibrato and the song's unconventional structure set it apart from typical pop fare. The success of Brand New Key came during the height of the early 70s folk revival, when artists like James Taylor and Carole King were dominating the charts. However, Melanie's quirky approach made her stand out even in that crowded field. The song remains a perfect time capsule of early 70s whimsy and creativity.
I'm okay alone with you, got something I need.
Number 8. Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend.
Few songs from the 1970s could reduce listeners to tears, quite like Terry Jacks' Seasons in the Sun. This 1974 number 1 hit was actually a translation of Jacques Brel's Belgian song Le Moribond, transformed into an English-language farewell from a dying man to his loved ones. The song's emotional weight was balanced by its beautiful melody, creating a bittersweet listening experience that defined much of mid-70s popular music.
Bye, Papa, please pray for me.
Terry Jacks had been part of the Canadian group The Poppy Family before going solo, and Seasons in the Sun became his signature achievement. The song's success was global, topping charts in multiple countries and selling millions of copies. Despite its morbid subject matter, radio stations played it regularly, and it became a staple at graduations and other life transitions. For many who grew up in the 70s, this song represents the era's willingness to embrace both commercial appeal and emotional depth simultaneously.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
Number 7. The Night Chicago Died by Paper Lace British Group.
Back in the USA, back in the bad old days.
Paper Lace scored their biggest American hit with The Night Chicago Died in 1974, a song that painted a vivid picture of Prohibition-era gang warfare. The track reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and showcased the group's ability to create cinematic narratives within the confines of a pop song. The story of Al Capone and a deadly shootout captured imaginations across America, even though the historical accuracy was questionable.
I heard her pray the night Chicago died.
What made this song work was its dramatic arrangement and the group's committed performance. Paper Lace understood that sometimes historical authenticity mattered less than emotional truth in popular music. The song's success came during a period when storytelling in music was particularly valued. And The Night Chicago Died proved that British groups could craft distinctly American narratives just as effectively as homegrown artists. Radio programmers loved its theatrical quality, and listeners responded to its vivid imagery.
Shouting in the street, and the sound of running feet.
Number 6. Shannon by Henry Gross.
No one can even begin to tell.
Henry Gross's 1976 tribute Shannon told the heartbreaking story of a beloved dog who drowned, inspired by the real-life pet of Beach Boys member Carl Wilson. The song reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and demonstrated that popular music could address themes of loss and grief without becoming overly sentimental. Gross's gentle delivery and the song's acoustic arrangement created an intimate listening experience that resonated with pet owners everywhere. Before his solo success, Gross had been a member of Sha Na Na, the group famous for their 50s revival performances. Shannon marked a complete departure from that retro sound, establishing Gross as a serious singer-songwriter capable of handling mature themes. The song's success proved that audiences were hungry for authentic emotional content, even when it dealt with subjects that might seem trivial to some. For dog lovers who heard it in the 70s, Shannon remains an unforgettable expression of the bond between humans and their pets. Number 5. Billy Don't Be a Hero by Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, released in 1974.
The marching band came down along Main Street.
Billy Don't Be a Hero became a massive hit for Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song told the story of a young soldier who ignores his lover's pleas and dies in battle, reflecting the ongoing impact of the Vietnam War on American consciousness. The track's military march rhythm and emotional vocals created a powerful anti-war statement that resonated during a time of social upheaval.
Billy, don't be a hero, don't be a fool with your...
The song was actually written by British songwriters Mitch Murray and Peter Callender, but it found its greatest success in America with Bo Donaldson's version. The group never achieved similar chart success, making them another classic example of 70s one-hit wonders. Billy Don't Be a Hero represented the era's willingness to address serious political and social issues through popular music, something that would become less common as the decade progressed toward more escapist entertainment.
The soldier blues were trapped on a hillside.
Number 4. Dancing Machine by the Jackson 5. By 1974, the Jackson 5 were evolving beyond their early bubblegum sound, and Dancing Machine showcased this musical maturity perfectly. The song reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and featured a harder funk edge that pointed toward the group's future direction. Michael Jackson's vocals had developed considerably since the group's early hits, and his performance on Dancing Machine hinted at the superstar he would become.
Oh, baby, do it, baby. Dancing, dancing.
The track's robotic theme and mechanical sound effects captured the mid-70s fascination with technology and automation. The Jackson 5's live performances of the song featured elaborate choreography that mimicked robot movements, creating a visual spectacle that became their signature. Dancing Machine proved that the group could adapt to changing musical trends while maintaining their essential appeal. For fans who followed their career from the beginning, this song marked an important transition point in their artistic development. Number 3. Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Swede.
I can't stop this feeling.
Swedish group Blue Swede transformed B.J. Thomas's country-tinged original into a global phenomenon with their 1974 version of Hooked on a Feeling. The song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became famous for its distinctive Ooga Chaka opening, borrowed from British group Jonathan King. This cross-cultural musical fusion created something entirely new and irresistibly catchy. The success of Blue Swede's version demonstrated how the 70s music scene had become truly international, with artists from different countries influencing each other in unexpected ways. The song's infectious energy and unique arrangement made it a favorite at parties and sporting events throughout the decade. Blue Swede never duplicated this success in America, but Hooked on a Feeling ensured their place in pop music history. The track remains a perfect example of how creative reinterpretation could breathe new life into existing material. Number 2. Love is the Drug by Roxy Music. Roxy Music's 1975 hit Love is the Drug represented the sophisticated side of mid-70s rock, combining art rock sensibilities with commercial appeal. The song reached number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100 in America and became a bigger hit in the UK, showcasing Bryan Ferry's suave vocals over a hypnotic groove. The track's sleek production and fashion-conscious image influenced countless bands throughout the decade. What set Roxy Music apart was their ability to make experimental music that still worked on radio. Love is the Drug featured complex arrangements and unconventional song structures, while remaining undeniably catchy. The group's visual presentation, coordinated by Ferry's art school background, created a complete artistic statement that went beyond just the music. For listeners who discovered them in the 70s, Roxy Music represented the possibility that rock music could be both intelligent and entertaining. Number 1. Afternoon Delight by Starland Vocal Band.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some apple.
Perhaps no song captures the spirit of mid-70s radio quite like Starland Vocal Band's Afternoon Delight. This 1976 hit reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and won a Grammy Award, despite its slightly risque subject matter flying over the heads of many radio programmers initially. The song's harmony-rich vocals and acoustic guitar arrangement created a sound that was both sophisticated and accessible.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon.
Starland Vocal Band was formed by Bill Danoff and Taffy Nivert, who had previously written Country Roads for John Denver. Afternoon Delight showcased their ability to craft memorable melodies with clever wordplay, creating a song that worked on multiple levels. The track became ubiquitous on easy listening and pop radio stations, representing the era's embrace of adult contemporary music that could appeal to both younger and older listeners. The song's success was also representative of the 70s phenomenon, where one massive hit could define an artist's entire career. Starland Vocal Band never achieved similar commercial success, but Afternoon Delight ensured their permanent place in the decade's musical landscape. For those who lived through the summer of 1976, hearing this song instantly brings back memories of a more innocent time when double entendres in pop music were subtle enough to slip past censors, while still giving knowing listeners something to smile about.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon.
These 13 songs represent more than just forgotten hits from the 1970s. They're musical time capsules that capture the diversity, creativity, and cultural shifts of an extraordinary decade. From disco's infectious rhythms to soft rock's emotional vulnerability, from one-hit wonders to international crossovers, the 70s produced music that reflected a rapidly changing world. Each of these tracks tells a story not just through its lyrics, but through its place in the cultural moment. They remind us of first dances, long car rides, summer jobs, and the simple pleasure of discovering new music on the radio. Whether you heard them crackling through AM radio in your parents' car, or booming from speakers at the local roller rink, these songs formed the soundtrack to countless memories. What's particularly fascinating about this collection is how many of these artists achieved massive success with just one song, then seemed to disappear from the cultural conversation entirely. The 1970s were perhaps the last decade when this kind of lightning-in-a-bottle success was possible on such a wide scale. Radio programming was more adventurous, record labels were willing to take chances on unusual material, and audiences were hungry for new sounds. While streaming services and nostalgic playlists might occasionally resurrect these songs, they remain primarily in the memories of those who experienced them when they were new and exciting. They represent a time when discovering music was a shared experience, when everyone listened to the same radio stations and watched the same TV shows. The fragmentation of media that came later means we'll probably never again have songs that unite an entire generation the way these did. The 1970s were a time when radio programmers took chances, when artists could achieve massive success with unconventional material, and when music truly brought people together across all boundaries. These 13 songs are proof that the decade's musical legacy extends far beyond the classic rock staples we hear today. They remind us that great music often comes from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the songs that seem destined to be forgotten end up being the ones we remember most fondly. Looking back, it's remarkable how these songs captured not just musical moments, but entire cultural shifts. They documented America's transition from the turbulent 60s into a more introspective decade, reflected changing attitudes about love and relationships, and showcased the increasing sophistication of popular music. Each track on this list represents thousands of people who danced, sang along, or simply found comfort in melodies that spoke to their experiences. The artists behind these songs may not have achieved lasting fame, but they created something arguably more valuable: perfect moments in time that continue to resonate with those who lived them. In an age of instant digital access to millions of songs, there's something special about music that you had to discover by chance, hear on the radio, or find in a record store bin. If this trip down memory lane brought back some cherished recollections, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the music that shaped our lives. Share your own memories of these songs in the comments below. We'd love to hear which ones instantly transported you back to your younger days, and maybe you can remind us of some forgotten gems we missed.